Thanks a lot for coming in.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Something about this community appeals to you?
This is a wonderful place to live.
For Kelowna Now, this is Kent Mulgat. And we're joined by Kevin Levine and Jason Melhoff, all about Manifest.
Yes.
Okay, so
Good to see you.
thanks for coming in, guys. Tell me, what is Manifest? I'll start with you, Kevin. This is on October the 13th. Where is it happening?
Happening at Okanagan College from 3:30 to 7:30. We wanted a little bit of daylight so we can have some events outside and finish off the evening inside.
Okay, so what is it?
Manifest is an event that actually, when I met Jason, he started talking to me about it. So you might be the better one to explain the origins.
What's
what
Manifest,
happens.
Jason?
Manifest is just really a gathering of guys to get together to really talk about health and well-being. What does that look like for the modern man? How do we go about it? In a lot of ways, the invitation to start the conversation of what modern day man would look like. So.
And you were saying prior to this interview that you went through some personal health challenges that kind of got the ball rolling in your mind
Definitely.
about this?
Yeah, I had some health challenges, and I realized through that process that a lot of guys don't really talk about what's really going on. A lot of us would internalize things, kind of grew up in the era that tough guys kind of keep everything in, and learned really that it was important to have that infrastructure around you, the people that you could talk to, that you could relate to. And for me, I found it was a lot easier too to be able to relate and have those conversations with other guys, similar age, and some of the older guys too that kind of learned from it. They gave me really good advice to, how to be that great father, great husband, great friend. And so this really is just a way for us to get together and kind of chat on, what that looks like in this day and age, because we are always evolving, growing, trying to be, the best version of ourselves, and being around other guys kind of helps us figure what that looks like.
Right. Kevin, there seems to be a premise here that men tend to get together, get involved in some common activity, but maybe not talk about, the real things that are going on inside. Mental health stuff.
You know what? That's exactly why I got involved in this and really like the idea of this. I'm pretty fortunate that I don't think I have any friends that are going through mental health issues, but when I hear the stats and talk to the doctors or naturopaths that are dealing with just different people in the community and telling me that I know some of these people, men just don't talk about these things. So I thought it was pretty important, really like this idea, and pretty important to just start to help out.
Right.
And who knows, I might even be helping one of my best friends that's never talked to me about it.
Yeah.
So.
I guess when we talk to the professionals about it, if you've got a group of friends, say 10 guys you know pretty well, some of them are struggling in ways that you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And we see it all over the media, just shocking on some of the unfortunate situations and suicides and men's mental health, and just no idea that it was that bad.
So, it all sounds a little morbid when we get to talking about suicide, but it's important stuff. But I guess the whole idea of this, though, is to start out by making sure it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a fun event to allow men to start the conversation.
Yep.
Hoping for 250 men. Let's sell this event out to come to the college. And actually, when you walk in and register, we're going to ask if you have a piece of paper and go into that private government type voting booth and just mark off. Do you have any stress? Do you have anxiety? Are you experiencing depression? So we're going to have some real life stats. For
right in sort of in real time.
Real time. Who's at this event and who's going through what, and hopefully some of our learning stations that we're going to have there will, people can take some information and really start to help themselves at the event.
Yeah, no names attached to it, just kind of ambiguous of what that is, but it just gives us a good indicator of that room at that moment where we're at, and we feel that's a great conversation starter right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So. What next? I take it that there's also tables people can go to and say, here's, and sort of further a conversation if people start to open up?
Exactly. We're calling them learning tables. Canadian Mental Health Association is, bringing different people and different points of sale. Or not points, that's a bad word, but just more
educational tools and kind of, directing, for certain aspects of challenges that people face. So
yeah. Letting people know that there's help out there.
Yeah.
So, Jason, what about you? Do you remember the last time you were sitting with a buddy somewhere and talking about, these sorts of things? How people are really feeling?
Yeah, I'm finding more so now. For me, as time's gone on, I got more education. I've unfortunately lost a couple of friends to suicide through the years, and it really was an eye-opener. I would never guessed that they would be at that point. And so, I'm trying to get a little bit more bolder in my conversation, being more aware
Right.
of what's going on in their life. I find that in life we're so busy, we kind of almost internalize and focus on ourselves, but trying to be more aware of what's going on around us or what some of the signals or signs are. And it's one of those things that I like to do is try to do healthy things together with guys. I think that we kind of look at the traditional get together, go to a bar, hang out, is what a lot of people would expect. For me, a lot of what I like to do is go mountain bike riding with a buddy, go hiking with them. We kind of get up to a point there. We have some time just to talk about life, right? What's going on in your life? And I think this event, what we're hoping for is just to kind of give different ideas for guys too, to be able to get together, to share what's going on. Because in this day and age too, is that we got to be careful. It's not like you could be going out to, dinner or something like that with another woman to talk about what's going on, because that probably, I don't think my wife would really appreciate that,
Right.
and vice versa. But if I'm going out with a friend and we're bettering ourselves, our body physically and mentally, that's something that I know that my wife's very supportive of, and she's really happy. And same thing too, I'm very supportive of her doing those things to go and better herself to get that health and balance.
Kevin, can you think of the last time you really got down to some core issues about how people are really feeling inside with a buddy?
Yeah, the last time.
You keep it, people, us guys, we keep
Yeah.
it pretty superficial.
Other than myself, just with some busy times and stressful times at work, maybe the odd time with the family, but I really can't recall a specific time where I just needed to talk to somebody. And I
Right.
think it's just
So
one of my,
maybe there's even a barrier there that you've got to kind of work at, right?
Perhaps I'm open to the issues. When I hear the different things that go on and how people are dealing with them, and how some very strong people, or perceived to be very strong, all of a sudden have some issues, and I think that could be myself. I don't want to be later in life and all of a sudden have these issues and not know what to do. So I think this is even a great starting point for me, that
Right.
if I do start to have issues in the future,
Right.
I'll know.
So just in case anybody watching this thinks they're going to walk in the door and suddenly someone's going to descend on them and say, what's really going on?
Yeah.
There-
I'd love to explain the opening to change that.
You've got some fun stuff to get.
Yeah.
Maybe give a list of some of the things people will be doing to kind of break the ice and have a little fun.
Can I take the thunder on this
please,
one? 'Cause
please.
I'm
Yeah,
super excited
yeah, please.
about. We had to kick this event off, and we didn't want guys to saunter in and do that. So again, you're going to get that registration and fill out that paper. As soon as you hand in that paper, we're going to hand you a beer and point you to a huge table of meat and bacon and amongst a car show. So let's make sure that weather's good. So we're going to start off outside and do that, and then we're going to open up the doors at 4:00 to the inside activities and axe throwing. We're going to have a bit of a tricycle race for us, for a little bit of competition.
There's some real irony here, though.
Yeah.
It's like it just seems like you've built something that is so masculine, right? And yet at the same time, you're saying, hey, some of the ideas of masculinity are actually barriers to important conversations. So I guess there is sort of, can you see there's sort of a juxtaposition there?
It's dipping the toe in the water in a sense. You can't just ask someone to kind of dive off the high board, and right into the full body of pool, right? We want to be able to kind of invoke some thought, and the reality is there's certain elements that we feel comfortable with, and we have to have those comforting elements there, and things that we enjoy doing as guys, being guys together, and then there'll be axe throwing and other things that are masculine there, and from
Yeah.
that point we can kind of talk a little bit about some things. So it's dipping the toe in the water a bit.
Right. You've done it in Medicine Hat,
That's correct. Yeah.
and pretty good uptake. Did you feel that you moved the bar?
It was great. We had some really good speakers through the years that really were able to go and talk about, some of the struggles they had or challenges, what they did to be able to get their balance, to be able to share some of their stories or testimonials. And so, we found that it was really quite educational, and then kind of packaging that with a really cool event, having great food and fun. It was something that was memorable. And so we found that it's always been something every year that's been successful from the group that organizes it and keeps it going now. And it's working, right? It's getting the message. It's just getting everyone together, assembling, sharing what's going on, and hopefully making for a better life for them.
Fantastic. I'd like to keep these to about 10 minutes. Kevin, anything else you wanted to throw in there?
Saturday, October 13th, 3 p.m. Tickets are at www.manifestkelowna.org.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks for having
Okay.
us.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.